From the dawn of time, humankind was ordained by God to be the benevolent and compassionate rulers over the earth and its inhabitants. He has provided us in abundance with every fruit-yielding seed that is on the surface of all the earth, and every tree which has fruit-yielding seed, that shall be our food. To guide us in our role as His loving children and stewards of our living planet, God has sent many enlightened masters, sages and prophets to earth through the ages to remind us of our noble heritage. During their time on earth, these enlightened beings, Lord Krishna, Prophet Muhammad, Jesus Christ, Shakyamuni Buddha, Lao Tzu, Guru Nanak, Yogananda, and many more, shared with us the best, most noble way to live. With their great love and compassion, they have clearly felt and understood that animals are God's precious creatures, to be loved and protected. Thus, they have each clearly instructed their followers that the vegetarian diet, one that is animal-free, is the only one that is suitable for humankind, as God has decreed from the beginning of time. In this program, Our Noble Lineage, we will examine the origins of religious groups, spiritual organizations, and communities that exist in the world today.
This is the hidden words of Baha'u'llah, and they are a mystical collection of writings. And here's one I can read to you. It says, "O Son of Glory, be swift in the path of holiness, and enter the heaven of communion with me. Cleanse thy heart with the burnish of the Spirit, and hasten to the court of the Most High."
Welcome, devoted viewers, to Our Noble Lineage here on Supreme Master Television. In last week's show, we were introduced to the Bab, who was the founder of Babism, as well as one of the key figures of the Bahá'í faith. Today's program will feature the founder of the Bahá'í faith, as well as delve more into the principles of the religion. Baha'u'llah was the founder of the Bahá'í faith. He lived in Persia in the 19th century. He and his teachings are believed to be prophesied in Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, and other religions. For the Baha'is, the history of religion itself is one big learning process of mankind. And to guide mankind's learning, God sends us teachers or messengers who are called manifestations of God. Baha'u'llah was born in 1817 in Turan, Persia, in present-day Iran. The word Baha means glory or splendor. Mr. Randolph Dobbs, Secretary of Spiritual Assembly of the Baha'is of Los Angeles, helps to introduce more about the faith's original teacher.
In the same way that Christ was born into a Jewish family, to a Jewish culture, the Bab and Baha'u'llah were both from noble families, and they were Muslim, and many of the things that they did and practiced and the way that they prayed were in the Islamic way. They both were descendants of Muhammad, and the title is Sayyid or Sayyid, and it means that you could trace through the male lineage of your family descendancy from the Prophet Muhammad.
Although the Bab was a prophet himself, his mission was to prepare the way for a promised one, him whom God would make manifest.
So in the same way that John the Baptist prepared the way for the coming of Christ, the Bab prepared humanity for the coming of Baha'u'llah, and that's why there are twin manifestations associated with the Bahá'í faith.
Baha'is believe that Baha'u'llah is the promised one of all ages, fulfilling the prophecy.
Every great religion has a great prophet or messenger of God associated with. Jesus with the Christian faith, Moses with the Jewish faith, Muhammad with Islam. Baha'is believe that there is a progression to this divine revelation, and that all of the world's faiths prophesize for a golden age of mankind in which God's kingdom would be established on earth.
Despite its relative newness to the stage of religious history, the Baha'i faith has perhaps one of the most diverse populations in the world, united by one common belief. There are currently approximately 6 million followers, and they are spread literally all throughout the world in over 247 countries. The holy book of the Baha'is is called the Kitab-e-Aqdas. Other writings of the prophets are also considered sacred.
There are many of the Bab's writings and also of Baha'u'llah's writings. They each wrote many tablets. Baha'u'llah especially wrote hundreds of different tablets, and some of those have not yet been translated. However, there is a constant stream of them coming out of the world center of the Baha'i faith, which is now in Haifa, in the Holy Land. And there are various committees and bodies appointed to look after the translation of these sacred writings.
You are watching Our Noble Lineage on Supreme Master Television. We'll be back right after this brief message with more on the principles of the Baha'i faith.
Well, all of these manifestations of God, Buddha, Moses, Krishna, Zoroaster, Muhammad, they were all divine messengers. Mm-hmm. And each of them has an innate knowledge of their own. It's a divine knowledge, mm-hmm. Because they were pure channels. Mm-hmm. And they themselves declared their own mission. Christ declared his, Muhammad declared his mission. Mm-hmm. The Bab declared his, as did Baha'u'llah. We're moving towards a global era where the world is going to come into a greater sense of unity. So this is a gradual spiritual awakening. Mm-hmm. And in this future era, this golden age of man, this is to be a time of peace and a time of great prosperity for all the peoples of the earth.
Thank you for joining us again for Our Noble Lineage with today's program featuring the Baha'i faith. The Baha'i faith rests on three core principles: unity of God, unity of religion, and unity of mankind. Let us examine briefly each of these main beliefs. The first principle is the unity of God. The Baha'is believe that there is a single creator of all things. Omniscient, omnipresent, and almighty, he is often referred to as the all-powerful or the all-loving. This creator has a will and purpose for his creations, and his will is expressed and explained to humans through his messengers or the manifestations of God.
A unified world is really the kind of aim of the Baha'i faith, to unify the world. There's three basic principles of unity, and one is that there is just one God, that all of the world's faiths worship this same God, albeit in different ways.
The second principle is the unity of religion. At the same time, Bahá'í followers accept the validity of all the world's religions. In one Bahá'í house of worship in Wilmette, Illinois, USA, the symbols of many religions can be found on this pillar. The Bahá'ís respect the founders and teachers of the world's past religions. They call these past saints and gracious teachers manifestations of God. Each time a manifestation comes to earth, he brings a revelation, that is, special teachings that are specifically appropriate to the place and time.
The other level of unity is the unity of religion, that each faith may practice its faith in different ways, different prayers, different laws of diet, different burial laws or laws of marriage or so on. But the spiritual truths, they're really all the same. So in that sense, all of the world's faiths are a part of the same faith, the worship of this one God. So whether you're Christian or Jewish or Muslim, you are kindred to Bahá'ís, or Bahá'ís feel a kindredship to people from different faiths, that we're still worshiping the same God, and essentially we believe in the same spiritual truths. The social teachings vary from era to era according to the condition of mankind.
The Bahá'í faith recognizes that the solution to the entire world's troubles, political, economic, and social, is the unification of mankind. This is the third principle, and it is central to the Bahá'í teachings. This unity and equality does not necessarily signify sameness, however. It is more that humanity as one is connected while being highly varied at the same time, racially and culturally. Every race and culture is worthy of appreciation and tolerance. Nations, races, and social classes are merely artificial impediments to unity.
Right now we are in a nationalistic era where people have an identity and a love and a strong feeling for their own country of birth, and they have their own language and so on. But we're moving towards a global unity where people will adapt a universal second language, where there will be a world government, a world system of weights and measurements, a world currency. And you can see, I mean, if you look at the things that are happening now, even in, just recently at an international summit on economic matters, China had lobbied for a world currency. So you can see the world kind of moving towards these a greater sense of unity, greater level of unity, and it's happening in a very organic, natural process.
The foundation of all great religions is based on love, and the teachings of the Bahá'í faith follow this principle as well, espousing kind treatment not only to fellow humans, but also to animal co-inhabitants. Bahá'ís are taught that vegetarianism will be the diet of the future.
There are also many writings about compassion.
Yes, that's true. And I actually brought one that has to do with not just compassion, which means with feeling, but to have not just with feeling for other people or people of different faiths or different cultures, but feeling for all the creatures of the earth. This sentence talks about the nature of man's diet. And it was written by Abdul Baha, the eldest son of Baha'u'llah. And he writes, "Truly the killing of animals and the eating of their meat is somewhat contrary to pity and compassion. And if one can content oneself with cereals, fruit, oil, and nuts, such as pistachios, almonds, and so on, it would undoubtedly be better and more pleasing." And so we get from that one sentence, and there are many such writings from Baha'u'llah and Abdul Baha and the other figures, about this future diet and the treatment of animals on earth, that it should be done with compassion.
Perhaps what many people find so attractive about Baha'i principles is that these principles envision an ideal society. They are gender equality, elimination of all forms of prejudice, whether religious, racial, class, or national, harmony of religion and science, universal opportunity of education for all, a universal auxiliary language which all humanity can use to cooperate quickly with one another, a judicious world government, and the elimination of extremes of wealth and poverty. Many people, like the Baha'i followers, see a noble society as a real goal to be pursued in everyday life.
Well, we believe that the establishment of God's kingdom on earth will usher in a golden era of flourishing of the arts, of an appreciation for the equality of gender, the elimination of prejudice against race or age or any of those things that are really kind of holding us back from becoming our true spiritual selves.
We thank Mr. Randolph Dobbs for his time in sharing about the Baha'i faith. May our shared ideals of a peaceful and harmonious world be soon realized. Thank you, gracious viewers, for joining us for today's Our Noble Lineage, which airs every Sunday on Supreme Master Television. Please stay tuned for Between Master and Disciples. Wishing you joyous and blessed moments in life.